students of 10th standard. Now we will do, that is 2.2, and in the previous class I have told you about some great scholar, those who have written the Indian history, that is Grant Duff and Colonel Todd and William Wilson Hunter. They were writing the Indian history, but they showed some impartial treatment to the history subject. That means they were not writing the Indian history properly. So, our two Indian writers, that is Nilkant, okay, that is page number 10 I am talking of. Nilkant, Janardhan, Kirtan and Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade were two Indian historians who took away the task from Dufford's hand and they started to write the Indian history. Now we will do, that is 2.2, Indian Histography, various ideological framework. Now what do you mean by various ideological framework? Idea means you are knowing, no? Your own ideas, what you are having in your brain. Yes, na? That is known as ideological. Yes. Now here we will study about the colonial histography. Now this colonial histography, yes, were studied and were written by scholars, mainly the British officers and the Christians missionary. Who has written first the Indian history? That means the British officers and the Christian missionary, they started to write the Indian history. But they showed prejudice. Prejudice means they did not write clear history of the Indian. They did not write a clear history of the India or the Indians. Okay. The Indian culture was not giving a clear picture. The British people appreciated only the Britishers and its colonial. That means the British people were naturally like their own people. Yes, no? How we Indians like our Indian brothers. So, likewise, the British people also appreciated and wrote about the British colonial. The 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India published in 1922 to 1937, the Common Era, which shows about the British colonial and its goodwill. That means in 1922 to 1937, the British people wrote in their Cambridge History of India about the British people only. Okay. Now come to the next point, that is the Orientalist Histography. What do you mean by Orientalist? What do you mean by Orientalist? Orientalist means the philosophers, the scholars. Okay. Now there were many scholars of the European country who felt to study about civilization and countries of the East. Countries of the East means who? Which country? Especially the Bangladesh and the Bengal. As you know, in history we have studied most of the foreign people or Britishers settled down in Bengal and they made the Bengal the headquarters. So many people came to Bengal and they were interested and settled down in Bengal. This Orientalist had respect and admiration. That means this Orientalist, they respected other people and the Indian culture. They liked the culture of India. Okay. The Orientalist studied the similarities between Sanskrit and European language. That means the scholar, those who came to West, that is Bengal, they wanted to study what is the similar between the Sanskrit and European countries. That means in those days in India, Sanskrit was the oldest language. Okay? And we say in India that Sanskrit is the mother of all languages. They focused more on Vedic tradition and Sanskrit literature. Literature means what? Upanyas. Yes, sir? Yes, you got it? They said that Indo-European language to be the mother language of all. Okay? Then in 1784, Sir William Jones founded Asiatic Society in Kolkata. That means to Calcutta who came? Again British person came to Calcutta in 1784. He was Sir William Jones and he founded a society. That society name is what? Asiatic Society in Calcutta. He told to many people, or he appealed to many people and said, those who want to do research in Indian history and literature, you are welcome to Calcutta. Then another scholar, that is Frederick Maas Muller, said Sanskrit was the oldest language of the Indo-European. He had great interest in Sanskrit literature. Who had great interest in Sanskrit literature? That is scholar Frederick Maas Muller. He had a great interest towards Sanskrit literature. He translated Sanskrit literature or Sanskrit text, okay, of Hippopotamus. That is, see now, Hippopotamus to German language. That means he studied Sanskrit. He collected so many information from India about Sanskrit, books and textbooks. And then he translated which textbook? That is Hippopotamus. Into which language? German language. He was the editor. Now listen. He was the editor of 50 books. How many books? 50 books. And those books mainly of the sacred books of East. Sacred book means what? Holy books, our religious book. He produced the Rig Vedas in 6 volumes. Okay. And he translated Rig Veda in which language? German language. Now, what is Rig Veda? Do you know what is the meaning of Rig Veda? Rig Veda means our religious book. Our, Bhagavad Gita is there, Mahabharata is there, Ramayana there, na? So many religious books he has translated into German language. I will read it for you. So you have to pay attention to your text and mark whatever I have marked in the textbooks. Okay.